Well, there were two ways I could have entered the scene. The way I entered in a monk mode, in a zen mode on the hybrid electric motors. Or like a ninja, like a Shaolin, in a super sprinty mode thanks to the hybrid powertrain, a V6 engine mated to electric powers, giving me 0 to 100 in less than 6 seconds. But I chose the latter one because we are in the midst of nature. I wanted to keep it like that. I wanted to enter in a hush manner, and this car allowed me to do that. It's not an EV, it's not a petrol car, it's a best of both worlds. Hi, I'm Nikhil Chawla. Welcome to another episode of Talk Tech on the Unbiased blog. And this time we have a very special car, the Lexus LS500H. And we have been driving this car for a week now. We've driven over 1,000 kilometers. But guess what? All those 1,000 kilometers we clocked were in one single fuel tank. Yes, can you imagine a luxury car, a luxury limousine car giving you more than 1,000 kilometers in one full tank? But this car did that. And I think that's the reason it sets apart from its German rivals, from other luxury cars of this segment. So now let's talk about the design of the Lexus LS500H. Well, the grille says it all. It's a reciprocation or a mirror image of what you see on people's faces when you're driving this car. Yes, it's a jaw-dropping grille and exactly the reaction you get from people when you're driving around in this car. And the use of chrome and the big Lexus logo. And it is definitely an epitome of what Japan is all about. Tradition, technology and design and their culture. You know, this car embodies that culture, that tradition and technology, whether it's inside the car, outside the car, or the technology it has. This swan wings kind of light, and looks like the DRLs are straight out of a swan, looks so beautiful. And then these headlamps, 3 different elements of the headlamp, really nice lights, really attractive lights, and how it goes into the bonnet and the bumper and all those curves and angles it has. It's just beautiful. It's just so nice to look at. You have headlight washers and good use of chrome everywhere if you see in the bumper. Also, if you see the bonnet, it's really long because it's a limousine, a 3.5 liter V6 engine, and how sporty and elegant it looks at the same time. And you'll be surprised. You wanted to see a V6 engine, right? You want to see that all the mechanical parts and all. Let me show you how it is. That's the beauty of it. Japanese culture, Japanese tradition, making sure that it lives on to the legacy of the 1989 Lexus LS500. They made sure there are no vibrations when you're driving the car in petrol mode also, or in the fusion mode or the hybrid fusion mode, thanks to all the covers, all the padding and all the acoustic foam that they've been used, all the bonnet, that make sure that you don't get any vibrations. And that's why you saw that video where they put a lot of glasses, champagne glasses, and made sure that it crossed 150 kilometers per hour and still the glasses were intact. And that's the beauty of it. And it's not just about the vibration, it's about how it drives, how the suspension is, how big the wheels are. So let's move on to the side and talk about these stunningly chrome 20 inches wheelers on this one. What a sporty fender line it has. You know, it's like bulky. The JDM culture is intact and alive. And that's what I wanted to point out. This car is not just hybrid in terms of, you know, the petrol and electric power it has, but also a hybrid of a luxury sedan plus that sporty strength and that sporty feel to it. And I really like that. I'm really digging this. The indicators are on the ORVMs and they look really nice thanks to the chrome again. Look at this dual tone, this black and the body color, and you hardly see the light because it's kind of integrated, which is really nice. I wish the roof was also like that, but that has been missed. So now onto the side, you can see how long this car is. It's like over 5 meters and literally one of the longest cars you can drive in the luxury segment. See this chrome lining running across the running board, and then you see this that makes all the magic, the multi-stage hybrid. So now what is multi-stage hybrid? Well, we'll talk about all in the drive and explain what is multi-stage hybrid and how it's different from the smart hybrids and the hybrids that you get in other cars. Now these are regular handles, right? But this chrome lining looks really nice, but also the fact that you can open any of the door if you have the key. All doors are smart sensor. You can lock or unlock from here. Kind of common in luxury cars, but it's nice to have it on all 4 doors. And if you thought the driver's window pane is big, let's move to the back. And you can see this is one of the few cars that has 2 quarter panel glass. So you can see the 1 quarter panel glass right where, you know, the seats end. Then there's one where the seats are, and thanks to the reclining seats which tilt to 45 degrees, you also can make use of the last quarter panel glass on this. Continuing, you can see how the roof is sloping and going like in the boot, much like what you expect from a sports car or a coupe. Yes, you do miss out the panoramic sunroof, but when we move to the interiors, you'll know why. They've given away the panoramic sunroof for a smaller sunroof. Now on the quarter panel, you can see how the light is coming till almost where the fuel tank is in usual cars, and how these lines are running over the top of the light and how nicely it's done. So this line ends here and then it starts again from the rear door and goes on till the front fender, which is really nice to look at because it comes with air suspension. We've lifted the car, so that's why you can see so much of ground clearance. And for countries like India where the roads are not great, it's a must-have feature for luxury cars. We could clear all those bumps, all those potholes. So right where the chrome ended on the rear door, it starts where the tire ends. It starts where the bumper starts and goes till the side, and then again there's a brake and it goes across the car, so which is really nice. So use of chrome is subtle but really nicely done, Lexus. Now let's move to the back of the car and see how the rear is. Now on the rear, you notice how the sportiness continues. The rear spoiler is integrated, it's like a lip there and gives that car really nice look and sporty feel. Right underneath is the Lexus logo. The lights are wrap around and they go really towards where usually the fuel tank is. So you can see this light running across and how the chrome elements have been used in the lights also. So this chrome element starts from the side, goes here, and the same Y continues for the number plate and continues across the car. And also you'll also notice this chrome line running lower on the bumper. I think Lexus was conscious that they wanted to put it as a green vehicle that can do the best of both worlds, petrol and hybrid. So they made sure the silencers, exhaust pipes are not visible, and we tried our best. We leaned down, we couldn't see it, so that's a good thing. I think they're just somehow hidden inside, and that's how it should be. Then the Lexus word mentioned here, then the Lexus logo again, and the model LS500H. This is what matters. This is what matters. The LS500 badge, the flagship premium Japanese luxury car, you know, going head to head with the German rivals or the other luxury cars of the world. This is what defines Japan's luxury car culture. On the roof, because there's no panoramic sunroof, you can see there is a shark fin antenna and a small integrated spoiler kind of a light, a brake light that lights up when you brake, of course. And there are curtains all across the rear, whether it's the side windows, the side quarter panels, or the rear window, you can use by press of a button. And standard, you get cameras and sensors running across the bumper on the Lexus LS500H also. So now let's sit inside and see how it is from the inside. As soon as you move near the car lights up. This design, this texture on the dashboard lights up, the timepiece on the dashboard lights up, and that's just when you're passing through the car and the keys are inside your pocket. And as soon as you go close, you'll see the seat belt buckle move up. You'll see the seat start adjusting for your comfort, the steering wheel adjusting for your comfort as soon as you press the button. So right now I'm inside the car and it is just plush. You can see this design elements, this tradition of Japanese culture going on, this origami like texture, this plated cloth. I mean, it's nothing like you've seen on a luxury car, and I'm telling you after driving all the German rivals. And it's just simply unique, and it feels like bespoke interior for you, handmade, hand designed for you, and this burgundy color, it's so nice to see. Now Japanese are known for their culture, you know, preserving their tradition, keeping all those nostalgic products with themselves, you know. It was so nice to see people still buying and using flip phones, using older technologies, using LPs, still have craze for PlayStation 1. All these things really tell you a lot about Japan and the Japanese culture. And you know what? This car is a testament of that. It has everything that you would need from a tech point, also keeping alive the tradition. Whether you're talking about CD drive, which is gone, whether you're talking about the timepiece on the dashboard, which is even gone from the S-Class now. Japanese marvel of engineering. I sat in the car and I was like, well, just another armrest, right? I opened it, I was like, wow, this is great. And then I saw another button, I was like, wow, why there's a button there? Well, you click on it and it opens, and you'll be like, how it is happening? I mean, it's one said thing, there should be one hinge, but yes, it works from both ways seamlessly, without any worries, which is really fascinating to me. I mean, it might be a little thing, but this is something that really says a lot about the engineering. CD-ROM drives, Blu-ray display, HDMI port, headphone jack, they're all in this car. So if you want like the lighter chargers, they're across the car. Here, it's filled with charging ports. But what is missing is the user interface feels archaic in today's standard. This one does not support Android Auto or CarPlay. So when we plugged in our phone, it came as an iPod and could play songs, but there was no interface. The only way to interact with the screen is the infotainment system, is this trackpad which says Lexus, and there is a pointer that comes when you moving it across. It is bit flimsy and clumsy, and it is tough to control. I don't have a problem if there's no touchscreen, but the problem is that it is really sensitive and it just move across, and it's really tough, especially when you're driving. You'll just give it up and you'll say, no, I don't want to put any navigation, I don't want to put anything, let's try. But what they've done cleverly is that they have an app where you just plug it in the phone and the app launches. It's like a suite to control the interface, and you can find the navigation where you want to go, send it to the navigation on board. Now let's continue with the design. You see these fins running across. These are actual metal fins. You feel they're sturdy, they're nice. This is not plastic, and this silver line running across the dashboard like an airwave. Go on to this crystal elements on the door, which feels so nice again. The use of plush leather is insane in this car. I mean, it's still the bottom till where the door is. This Alcantara leather feel all across the car. Whether you touch any surface, you will get a soft touch, which is really nice and good to feel. So much of plushness, so much of luxury across. And this light I was talking, when you are like driving the car, it lights up a little bit. It has a pattern that is very similar to what you see on the door. It's so nice to see all these little things that they've done to the car. You also see this energy meter, which shows when the wheels are getting in power from the engine or from the battery. How is the battery charging again? So other than that, you get like trip information, music, navigation, your seat configurations, because the seat can be configured in 24 ways, and you can do it manually from the sides, you can do it from the screen. There is also a dedicated button on the center console which lets you play around with driver seat adjustment, passenger seat adjustment, driver seat refresh, which is the massager, the Shih Tzu Japanese massager. I think it's one of the best massagers I've experienced in a moving four-wheel car. Literally out of the best of the best. And also the fact that it is there for all four seats, whether you're driving, whether you're sitting at the back, it is equally good. There's also a spot massager if you're sitting at the rear seat. So there's heated points in the seat which gives you a heat stone massage kind of feel. You also have seat climate, steering climate, which lets you control the climate of the steering, lets you control the climate of the seat. And when the massage is going on, the surround sound comes from the Mark Levinson speaker setup, which is 24 speaker setup, and it's really good and deep and surround. And also the seats have those speakers, the roof has the speakers, and that is the reason I was mentioning outside there's no panoramic sunroof on this car, because this car is filled with speakers. All the roof panel has speakers in it, the doors have speakers, the seats have speakers. After the trackpad, you get this map button, menu button, the gear lever, which is really small. There are 4 modes you can put it in. Since this car is imported and not built in India or assembled in India, the cost is really high. And not just the cost, the features, certain features like seat belts for all passengers is mandatory. Whether you're sitting at the back or the front, it will go on beeping. So even the rear passengers on either of the seats always have to wear a seat belt. The other button that you see on the center console is the curtain button, so you can easily do that. The next button is the EV mode. Now EV mode is when the battery is completely charged and you can drive the car in certain amount of kilometers while you wanted just EV mode, no petrol engine. While the car does it automatically, but there is a dedicated EV mode also for people who really want to drive just in EV mode, no use of petrol. The next button is to lift the car, the air suspension feature, where you feel that there is a huge bump or you want to somehow just want to increase the height of the car. Click on that, it rises high, and you can see that on the dashboard that it's driving in high mode. The buttons on the dashboard do not feel that luxurious. They are like regular rubber buttons that you see on the cars. There are a lot of sensors, and from sensors I just had to tell you that this car comes with 4-zone AC control, and there's also a concierge mode in the car. As soon as you hit on the concierge mode, there are infrared sensors that test your body temperature and automatically adjust the car's cabin. There are AC vents all across the car, even in the doors. So you have that there, and that feels really nice. Now moving on to the steering, it feels nice. It's not flat bottom like you would want from a car that feels and sprints so nicely. It's normal luxurious steering. It has all the buttons that you would need. It has all the controls. The voice mode doesn't work because it doesn't have an inbuilt assistant. You have to connect a phone to make it work. So that is kind of redundant here. You also get a digital speedometer cluster, which shows you all the information. When you change the mode, the color changes. When you're in Sports Plus, it goes red. When you're Eco, it goes purple. Though you can't really configure it or change it in other cars, you see that option where you can configure the speedometer and change the modes and see a lot of information. But this one is limited to the speed, and you have some things like, you know, it gives you warning, it gives you directions, but they made up with that because they have given you an HUD display. So you get a heads-up display which shows you all the information. So even if you can't really tweak around the digital speedometer cluster, there's so much you can do with the HUD. One thing I liked is that the temperature gauge and the fuel gauge are analog. It looks really nice and retro. On the right side, the driver gets the HUD button, a view button for the 360-degree cameras. There's also space to keep your coins and wallets and tickets. And then there are buttons for the boot, for the bonnet, and also the fuel tank right here. The driver also gets all the control to lock, unlock, power window lock. You also get an option to control the rear windows and the rear curtains. So press of a button, the rear curtains and the rear windows go up or down. So both the vanity mirrors are again soft touch. They have good mirrors and lights, and also you get sunglasses holder, which is really important. If you've seen my previous videos, I really can't live without it. You have touch sensitive lights for both the passengers and the driver. So you also get this 2 cup holder, which is nice. You also get a cool glove box, which also has a lock on it, so you can lock if you have anything safe kept in there. So usually we've seen that luxury cars really focus on the dashboard, the side panels and the roof, but they forget about the mats. Lexus has made sure that they give you fur-like, rich carpet-like mats. Look beautiful, look really nice. So when they're commanding a price, they're also splurging it on you. Look at this, look at the interior. It's so beautiful. I mean, I can just go on and on about it. So for the sake of the video's length, let's move to the boss seat. Enjoy the rear seat comfort, the massagers, and the real reason a person might buy this car. Other than the EV mode, other than the driving capabilities, of course, and the looks. But the most important factor for the owner might be sitting at the back seat in the boss mode, where this seat, or a press of a button, just compresses to the dashboard and you get like a almost flat bed with 45-degree recline on the rear seats. So we are on the boss seat. We are finally seated where you would usually sit when you spend almost 3 crore rupees. Well, this is the seat, and I'll just switch on the boss mode. All you have to do is go to seat, click on the front, and just click on this button, and it starts rotating and moving, and you know, starts adjusting itself. Headrest goes down, the screen comes out, and it just becomes a business or first class experience, to be honest. You know, it's just a press of a button and all this happens. So as you notice, the screen tilts down as soon as the seat moves forward. The screen tilts down for your comfort. And that screen has a lot of options. You can actually watch a Blu-ray movie. Yes, there's a Blu-ray disc slot over here, which is unusual for a car. But then again, Japan loves its tech. Japan loves its retro tech also. So you also get an SD card reader or an XD card reader, which is rare again. But you have that option. So if you are watching this video, I was watching this video in this car while after shooting this. So that is something that you can only do in this car. You can put in an SD card and watch your own shoots in this car. Again, this interior, this lighting and this glass panel looks really nice. This texture of origami and, you know, pleated cloth looks really nice. The Mark Levinson speakers, again, really across the cars, especially on this rear door. There are 2 of them right up front and then at the bottom. You also have a lot of AC vents for your comfort. So it is in the seat, of course. You have it on the door pillars, you have it in the center, you have it at the floor. So they made sure that you're comfortable. You are in a great seating position. I haven't made it to the boss mode yet, to be honest. So let me just do that also, because I just adjusted the front seat. So this is the boss mode I was talking about. Imagine, you know, working here with your laptop, or, you know, just working on your iPad and just relaxing with a 45 degrees recline angle and feeling like a boss. I would not even know that I'm in a car if I'm sleeping, to be honest. I just need a good quilt, and thanks to the air suspension, it'll be so smooth that I would just love the experience. And then again, if you think there are people honking around and all, you have the orchestra sound across the car, you know, on the roof, underneath, over your head. There's big screens for you. Both the passengers enjoy the experience, and you know, all this control in this central panel, which is touchscreen. Thank God for that. They have given touchscreen on that. And you know, you can control, even if you like your own audio on your headphones, you can simply put it up, put in your headphones, and just the volumes from here. There's a panel to do that. You also have an HDMI port. So if you have something on your laptop, you just plug in HDMI, or you want to put anything else that supports HDMI, just put it, you know, just put it here, start consuming content. You also get 2 USB ports again. No USB-C ports yet on this car, because this is not the 2021 edition. This is the 2018 edition that we get in India. When I step out or step in, the seats also adjust automatically, so it does it all for you. So I just pull the handle and the seats adjusting itself for my easier exit from the vehicle. And the car also lowers itself down. So that's all about the rear seat comfort and the features of the car. So now we're seated in the Lexus LS 500h and we're gonna start the car. And you'll see a lot of things happening when you unlock the car, when you start driving the car. It started right now, no engine noise, because it's the best of both worlds. I've been saying that all over again and again, but because we are about to drive this car, I have to mention again that it's the best of both worlds. You get a self-charging electric battery and you get a massive 3.5 liter of V6 engine. It also has energy monitor on the infotainment screen as well as the speedometer, so you can see how much of energy is being conserved from the battery, how much energy is being used, how much of regeneration is happening, and it also shows if the car is now using the engine power or the battery power, and it does that all automatically, automagically I would say that, and that's all thanks to the two-stage hybrid system. We've seen a lot of cars doing hybrid and smart hybrids and those pseudo hybrids that are there. They have battery that conserve over a traffic light, but this is like an actual EV. This is like an actual EV mode in the car where the car runs silently. We've seen either good EVs or we've seen either really good petrol cars. There's always something missing, a best of both worlds kind of a situation where you could run something on an EV and run something out of a petrol engine. It does that both and does it really, really well. And the best part is that you don't have to worry about plugging it. It's not a plug-in hybrid. It's a battery that charges automatically as you're driving. So that's like hassle-free. It's all convenient. You don't have to worry about finding those charging points or plugging it in when you reach home or a location. That's all being taken care of. And all thanks to this technology, the mileage you get out of this car, this massive car, a V6 limousine length, almost 5-meter long car, is massive. I mean, we just took the car to Rishikesh, which is like up and down. We did like around 600 plus kilometers. And we took two luxury cars. One was a Mercedes GLC 300 and one was this. And we're expecting similar numbers, when it comes to mileage. But you would be surprised to know the needle of the fuel gauge hardly moved in this car, and that is where the hybrid magic comes in. You must be wondering, why would somebody not go for an S-Class or an Audi 8 or a BMW 7 Series and go for a Lexus? Because Lexuses are rare in India. But overall, when you talk about global markets, you talk about United States, it's one of the most trusted brands, it's one of the most bought luxury cars, and people maybe over there are conscious, or also there could be a reason that they're locally manufactured and the costs are quite lower than what we get in India. So what is happening in India is like, if this car is 1.5 crores, we are almost paying 3 crores for this car, which is a really steep rise from the German rivals, because they have an advantage of making in India and or assembling in India, so that they can cut down on those costs. Because this is like completely imported unit, the costs go really high, and that's why you would hardly see 500h on streets, on the roads, because it's one of the premier flagship models, and so the cost goes really up. In the Mercedes-Benz, I got around 10 to 12 driving on highways, and there were a lot of traffic jams because of the public holiday, and we were stuck on a mountain for around 2-3 hours. This one gave almost 25 km per liter, which is double what we get in a usual luxury car. This is a massive 3.5 liter V6 engine. Yes, they've gone away with the V8s, but this is mated with electric motors on all 4 wheels, and that's why you also get instant torque, and 0 to 100 is less than 6 seconds. What we like about EVs is like that instant acceleration, and also what we like about fuel cars is that sound. Over here you're getting both. We've driven the S classes and 7 Series and the Audis of the world, but the kind of interior they've made and what they've done with the interior is just fabulous. I mean, it stands out. I mean, be it the exterior, that massive grille, or this interior, it just stands out. I can not explain how beautifully it drives when you are in either of the modes. These modes are for different reasons and actually happens on the fly and feels really nice. And the convenience of just doing that, tapping on it and getting that mode. which is really nice. Then you get paddle shifters. If you're not happy with the gear shift that is happening in the car, you can just use the paddle shifters, and change the gears. You won't see gear shifting actually happening when you are driving in the drive mode, but this car comes with 10-speed automatic gearbox. So right now, like I was just doing it manually and I could see that I'm in the 10th gear and I could just put it in 10th gear. So this is like plus. So while you're driving in the auto mode, the drive mode, you never know which gear the car is in, which you usually see in other cars of the German rivals. But when you take control of the car, when you put it on the paddle shifters, you see the gear number. So right now I'm on 4th and I can take it all the way up to 10 gears. So that's crazy. I mean, 10-speed gear shifter, and that's why even on higher speed this car is really smooth. If I have to sum up the drive, I would say it is silent as a monk and agile as a ninja. I cannot put it in a better way, but this is how the car feels, especially because you're in EV mode. It's like a silent monk, but when you put it in Sports Plus and when you're trying to corner it, it becomes an agile ninja. So that's about the drive. So that was all about the Lexus LS500H, the car that has literally spoiled me. Next time I open a car door, I would expect the steering, the seats and the temperature to be set according to my need. But that would not happen because this is the Lexus LS500H features, which will not be in every other car, right? So do let us know how did you like our video of the Lexus LS500H in the comment section below. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching the Unbiased Vlog.